Welcome to our Friday night live stream. Today's theme, I want to jump right in, all about sugar cravings. And I want to show you guys the secret that worked for me and thousands of other people who have tried a carnivore lifestyle that literally works into tricking your brain to not want sugar anymore. So I have my little secrets right in front of me, and I want to go through my best hacks for getting through the sugar cravings. This is the first one. Raw butter. Okay. This saved my life. Not only did I no longer have sugar cravings when I ate this, it also brought back my period and healed my hormones. If you guys have autoimmune issues or diseases that you really want to heal and just feel better, beef suet is the most gentle fat that you could possibly eat. I recommend eating it raw. Okay. Welcome to the live stream, guys. Let me know where you all are hopping on from. I'm going through my favorite fats. Beef fat. If you cannot stomach beef fat because it tastes disgusting, it just scares you that you're eating raw beef fat, this right here is the second best. So high in stearic acid, it is basically dehydrated beef fat. This stuff right here, dehydrated into a nice crispy fatty snack for you. This is from Grassland Nutrition, linked it down below. Okay. And then finally, we've got rendered beef fat. It looks kind of weird, but this is just all the collected animal fats that I have, cooked meat, air fried meats right behind me, pointing there. Any rendered, melted liquid fats, I will pour into this glass jar right here, collect it, eat it as a snack, or just treat it as the best cooking oil. So, a question for everyone in the live stream. Do you struggle with sugar cravings right now? As a carnivore, do you feel like you have late night munchies? Do you sometimes want to have some chocolate, something sweet, some fruit? Type your answer in the comments, please. I'd love to see how many people here tonight are struggling with sugar cravings. I highly recommend you guys try this trick. It can be butter, it can be beef fat, it can be whatever animal fat that you enjoy, ghee. Every time you get a sugar craving, I recommend you eat one bite of butter. Let me show you. Just like that. Okay. Let that butter melt in your mouth and feel it literally calm you down, lower your cortisol, and dissipate those sugar cravings. It is like magic. Now, let me bring on my team and let's talk about this topic. Todd, did you ever struggle with sugar cravings after carnivore?
After carnivore? No, not after carnivore. Nope.
Before?
Before, yeah, just for about 39 years. So,
wow. Exactly.
For sure. Yeah, but it's the downfall of everyone. But yeah, of every diet and just couldn't shut the noise off. And carnivore is definitely what cured that. But yeah, I don't have sugar cravings at all on carnivore. It's incredible.
Amazing.
I got to tell you,
yeah,
today I've eaten the most butter that I've ever eaten in my life.
Stop.
Because of my pinched nerve, I've got some inflammation. So going after carnivore butter for some healing. And today I already ate 2.5 sticks of butter today, and I actually feel pretty amazing. I got to tell you,
2.5 sticks in a single day, just like off the stick, or did you cook with it?
No, I off the stick. I sliced it up in pieces and ate a big chunk with every piece of steak because I'm trying to hit. This is what's crazy, and that's only half that I'm shooting for today. Before everybody blows their mind, it's because I'm trying to hit 250 grams of protein for a pound of protein, or a gram of protein for each pound of lean body mass. I'm a big dude, and then I'm trying to eat double that in grams of fat, which means 500 grams of fat, which means
yes.
which means about 625 grams of butter, which is a little over 5 sticks of butter, which is crazy, but I'm going for it.
This experiment, I would love to follow along, and you need to film YouTube updates, little videos.
I will. I'll put it up for you.
Oh, I can't wait. Who here eats butter off the stick? Please let me know. And if it disgusts you, eat it cold, eat it frozen. It's way better than eating at room temp. Now, let me bring on my next guest, Laura Lynch. Laura, are you ready? Bringing you on. Hi, beautiful. You're currently muted, by the way. Welcome. Let me see if I can help you unmute. Oh, Oh, you're not unmuting. Might have to press a button somewhere.
Yeah, right at the bottom next to oh.
Okay, let me bring on Phil in the meantime. Phil, have you ever struggled with sugar cravings before or after carnivore?
Really never struggled with sugar cravings. It's not my big thing. Before carnivore, the things that would catch me would be things like I love French fries made from fresh potatoes with the peel on them, cooked in peanut oil
Oh yeah.
at the fair. I mean, or at Five Guys. You know, that would be great. And dark chocolate. So
Ooh, dark chocolate. Yeah.
and the really high percentage dark chocolate, like 82 and above. So
Mm,
not
yeah.
not the 99%, but the 82 or above. And since carnivore, um, probably the thing I crave the most are like nuts.
Nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would just love to put my head in a bag of nuts once in a while. But I eat butter. Like today, I'm working on a project for my good friend here, Bella. Um, and I wrote 23 pages of original research. And it's a fasting day, and it's my second roll of alternate day fasting. And when I have to do a lot of thinking, I get just a lot of hunger. And
Ah,
so I slice the butter like Todd does. And just, I like to put a pat of butter on my tongue and just let it dissolve.
oh, it's just the best.
And if I'm craving chocolate, which I don't anymore, but if I did, when I first went carnivore, I found that putting pats of butter in the freezer and then putting them on my tongue, my brain thought I was eating dark chocolate when I
Yeah.
did that. Because chocolate is about the fat melting more than the taste. So
Yes.
I found that frozen butter really hit the spot. So
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing, Phil. Laura, let's bring you on and test your sound.
Hi there. Can you hear
Yay!
me okay? Yeah, sorry. New
Very
screen.
well.
New screen. It's like, where did it go? It doesn't come up like when you tap on Zoom. Anyway,
No worries. Love the glasses. So the question is, did you ever struggle with sugar cravings before or after carnivore?
before carnivore, definitely, it's what brought me to SVG. And I did your priming protocol to get rid of the sugar cravings. Since then, though, no, I don't. And I do prefer frozen butter like Phil. I like it that way, although I can just eat it, bite it off the stick like you can too, Bella. But the satisfaction of that melting in your mouth definitely has a factor that kind of brings you back to eating desserts and that. So definitely. But yes, no sugar, probably sugar cravings are probably gone within 3 or 4 days of priming. And that was 3 years ago, 3+ years ago now. And no more sugar cravings. So
Amazing. I'm going to link Laura's interview that I did with her on the Carnivore Cruise. Her full story is in that awesome video. But let's go around the room here and just share how long we each have been carnivore so far. And then we will start taking questions from all of the live stream viewers. So start dropping your questions for us and we will get to them shortly. 6 years carnivore so far, high fat carnivore. How about you, Laura?
3 years in January and high fat carnivore.
Amazing. How about you, Phil?
20 months, high fat carnivore.
20 months. And Todd?
28 months, going on 29 now.
Hell yeah. High fat or moderate fat? What do you call yourself?
High fat now for sure. But I was always pretty high fat. But once I get the butter down, I'm going to be about the highest fat I've ever been for sure.
Fantastic. And then Laura, just share your age, please.
Oh, I'm 70.
70 years.
Wait a minute. 70 and a half now. Gosh darn it. Yeah.
70.5. Amazing. So Laura's interview is linked in the live chat right there. And before we jump into the questions, let's shout out our Montana meetup happening this year on July 4th. Yay. Okay. If you want to, come hang out with Dr. Baker, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Wiedemann is coming. We're going to add her face to the lineup. Todd, Phil, L, Carrie Homestead Howe, still adding to the group and the lineup. So I really hope to see you guys there. It is a fantastic place to celebrate 4th of July. And anything you wanted to announce, Todd, about the Montana meetup?
Yeah, absolutely. We added hotels to the website as well, and also rental car services, so you can have a little help on the best places to stay in Bozeman and or in the surrounding areas, and also for rental cars right there at the airport, at the BZN airport. So check that out. And tickets are moving pretty quick now. So we do encourage you to get on board, especially if you're our YouTube followers or in SBG. We want to see you guys get kind of first dibs on it before we put the rest of these out there a little bit wider spread. So please hop on there and get them locked up as soon as possible.
And Todd is including some really special VIP experiences where you can literally sit down with all of these doctors on the screen and have dinner with them. Like, that is a really priceless meal to have, because you can just ask all of your questions and hang out, get to know them. So just check out the website. It's linked right below this live stream, clickable links for you. And if you have questions, the email is also on the website for support. Thanks, guys. All right, let's jump into the questions. Todd, how tall are you?
That's a good question. I think I'm still 5'10", but I got to tell you, I've been going to the chiropractor, and I think he's gotten another inch or so out of me. he's been stretching me out, and I had pretty poor posture. And I'm not kidding. I'm sitting there going, because I was always mad because my brothers, half my brothers and my dad were 6 foot and 6'1". I'm like, man, I got the short end of the stick, but I think I might have been 6 foot, and I just had terrible posture. So we're gonna see. I might be closer to 5'11" now, so we'll see. Definitely 5'10". So.
For sure, it's possible. Thank you, Caleb. Good to see you as always. Hi, Dudu. Thank you so much. Thoughts on coffee on a carnivore diet? Well, let's go around the room. I drink coffee. Laura, do you drink coffee?
I do. I have switched to decaf probably a little over a year ago. Every now and then I still have a regular though. But I have given it up as well for a couple months at a time and didn't really notice a big difference. So I do still have it. Some mornings I just choose not to. I just don't have a taste for it, so I won't. But most days I do. I always think of it as my butter delivery system in the morning. So that's how I get my fat in the morning before I'm ready to eat a major meal anyway. Because I usually will have that maybe around noon. But in the morning, I like to have usually now like 2 pieces of bacon, and I'll have coffee with fat in it, with butter.
Amazing. Yep, Laura is gorgeous. 70.5 is amazing. Listen to Laura. Whatever she's doing is clearly working. Todd, do you drink coffee?
So I didn't. When I started Carnivore, I got off all the coffee because I drank a ton of coffee and iced tea and all sorts of things. And then I did, I basically went 27 months without coffee. And then when I was doing the oxalate dumping thing, I had a little bit of green tea. And also I wasn't sleeping because of this nerve, and I was getting pretty tired. So I brought back coffee for about 3 weeks, and it made me very irritable. And I was also eating a lot less. So I cut out the coffee. And so I'm like 3 weeks now off coffee again. And it's just way better. I can't handle the caffeine. Caffeine makes me anxious and irritable, and it gives me a lot of anxiety. So I just can't do it.
Good for you. Phil, how about you? Do you drink coffee?
Currently drink coffee, but I'm on and off. I've done, 30 days without coffee. I think I did 6 weeks when I first joined SBG to Prime and halfway through level 2. But I enjoyed it. It's kind of a ritual for my wife and I. And we have a cup of coffee together in the morning. So I'm one of these that enjoys it midday sometimes, and doesn't keep me awake at night. So
Totally. Yeah. So I think general consensus is if it doesn't affect you, doesn't disrupt your sleep, you can, of course, have coffee as a carnivore. And an even better tip is have your coffee after eating a proper meal. It really does make a difference.
Mhm.
Perfect. Let's keep going. Welcome. Dud test. I'm 266 pounds and I want to lose weight, but I get so hungry at work. What should I eat for weight loss? What should you eat for weight loss? Todd, what did you eat for weight loss?
Man, I did BB&E at first, and now I'm basically at Lion, and I'm even cranking it up. I mean, it's kind of funny. The more that I ate, the more that I seem to lose. It was actually the opposite on Carnivore when I started restricting. That's when everything plateaued and I got stuck. So, I mean, honestly, I lost the most weight when I was eating between 3 and 6 pounds of red meat a day. It's 3 and 7 pounds of red meat a day, actually. And that's pretty much it. I had to definitely stay away from for me, everybody's a little different, but I had to stay away from the dairy and really just stick to the ruminant meats. Did the best for me and keep all the drinks and sweet flavors out and all the nonsense condiments and sauces and, all that stuff out. And then things just took off,
Amazing. Laura, you lost 40 pounds. What did you eat to lose weight?
I was eating mostly beef, but in the beginning I ate pretty much across the board, and I wasn't eating high fat then. So when I went I got rid of like pork tenderloin, which is something I always liked, and I was eating chicken breast. Well, now if I do have chicken, I have wings or thighs. I have no desire for chicken breast. I don't like lean pork. I eat pork belly. But when I say I went from mostly New York strips to mostly ribeyes, and I even cook, I get ribeye trimmings from a butcher here where I live, and I cook up some of those as an extra. That's like a side. So a side of beef ribeye trimmings and fat crisped up, and I have that with my steak almost all the time when I have one. I don't care how much fat is on the ribeye. I always want a little bit more.
Yeah.
So definitely more the high fat, but I began my weight loss with Carnivore and was eating way too lean. And although I dropped the weight pretty fast, you'll see that if you watch the interview, Bella posted, it just kind of, it was too fast. My face looked really old. And when we started talking about high fat in the early days when I was in SBG, high fat wasn't necessarily a thing. And then all of a sudden we started talking about high fat and butter boobs and butter butt and all this stuff amongst the women in there. And I thought, well, let's try that and see. And indeed it did work. My face filled out more, but not in it. It just filled out the wrinkly areas more, and some other areas too. So anyway, but it really was the better option for me. And I love fish too, but if I have salmon, I need like a 6-ounce steak with it. Definitely heavy toward beef. And I find that if I don't have that, I crave it like crazy. So it seems to be the best thing. But if you're working and you're hungry at work, that might not be the easiest thing to have. So honestly, the purse bacon thing, I think, is the best hack at all hacks. Always have some bacon cooked and have some in your purse. You can carry that stuff forever. I dehydrate meat and I carry that with me wherever I go too. So, but if you need something that's going to work easily at work, if you get hungry and it's not your lunchtime, you got a bag of bacon stashed somewhere. You can always pull some piece or two out, and it really does help. We talked about this at the earlier meeting today. In the open chat, I was just saying, having bacon on hand is like the best thing on earth.
Absolutely. Great tips. Love it. Phil, any tips for weight loss, foods for weight loss?
Yeah, well, my initial response, knee jerk, was for this question was the answer was more, eat more. And so I think we all agree with that the biggest reason you get hungry midday is because you're not eating enough. You're not getting enough protein and definitely not enough fat. But my alternative is I like to cook ribeyes. And if I'm going to be in a situation where I can't eat, I will cook up an extra ribeye, slice it real thin, put it in a Ziploc bag, and don't even worry about refrigerating it because it'll sit all day, or at least half a day. But if you have a refrigerator at work, even better. And whenever you're hungry, just chomp. I've done this on planes across the country all the time.
Yeah.
Is take strips of cooked ribeye. You could do raw if you wanted, but it's a very satiating, nice fatty meat. But I have a suspicion that test is probably not eating enough.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
whenever I get my most hunger, it's because I haven't eaten up to that
Exactly.
point enough. So
It's true.
Love it. Great tips, guys. Let's keep going. This is Janice. Hi, Janice. Welcome. I've been off coffee for 3 weeks now. I did this because of migraines. I am getting them one time a week. Any suggestions? Okay. So she got off the coffee and she did this to heal the migraines. Probably not best to get off the coffee cold turkey because you'll get headaches from getting off coffee cold turkey. Any suggestions, Phil?
yeah, well, caffeine is actually a migraine treatment. And once you get the coffee out of your system, taking a shot of espresso is actually will often stop a migraine. So I would say do your strategy of being completely off coffee. And whenever you get a migraine, try taking a shot of espresso. And you can pre-make those and keep it cold and do it with a couple Tylenol. And it's a very interesting strategy to stop migraines very, very quickly and works for a lot of people if they're not drinking caffeine all the time. In fact, Anacin, which some people use for migraines, is aspirin, and I think it has Tylenol in it and it has caffeine in it. So
Awesome.
it was the original migraine stopping over-the-counter med, but you can create your own with a shot of cold espresso and 2 Tylenols or 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol at the onset of the headache.
Perfect. And Janice, look into Angela Stanton. She's the expert on healing migraines, and she does recommend a carnivore diet. So definitely learn from her as well. Welcome, Gunther. Hi, if any or all of you have all-day energy, how long, weeks or months or years, did it take after starting carnivore to experience that all-day energy? Oh, I love this. Let's start with Laura.
Great question. I'd say almost immediate.
Yeah.
I've always been a little bit more of a high energy person anyway, but it was one of the comments my friends would make when I first, aside from the fact that they said, "Are you sure you should be eating that way?" They're like, "Oh my Lord, the last thing you needed was more energy." So that was their big comment to me all the time. So, are there times when you're going to feel a little bit like, oh, I'm just not feeling quite as energetic today, but it's usually because I haven't eaten enough or I haven't eaten yet. So the energy ebbs and flows a little bit with that. But I'd say almost immediate.
Almost immediate. Awesome. How about you, Todd?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, it's kind of strange. At first, I would have said I got 100% of the energy within 5 weeks, but that really wasn't true. I just thought I did because I'd never felt that good and I was coming from a really sick spot. But honestly, over the years, I get more and more energy. But also I have these spots where I lose energy, and I am starting to even get to even today, as I was eating so much butter, realizing that it's a slow drip where if you're not eating enough fat, you lose the energy and you don't realize it. You're just losing a little bit and something feels off. And I feel like I've gotten there mainly from I got a pinched nerve and I was dealing with some pain, and that was taking my appetite for the last couple of months. But realistically, I think I hit the peak energy where I think kind of when most of the stuff healed right around after priming and SBG, right around month, I'm going to say 13. That's when I got the most energy, was after priming. So.
Wow. Love that. How about you, Phil?
So I'd like to answer this a little different, Bella.
Absolutely.
Because having now watched hundreds of people in your 30-day challenge go through carnivore, what I've observed is there's people that hit carnivore running, do really great, and within 2 weeks they're bouncing off the walls feeling great. And then there's the people that just have trouble adapting to
Mhm.
carnivore, and they need some hand holding, they need some patience. And I think sometimes we overstate the expectation of more energy and carnivore calm, because it really has to do with the individual and how much healing they have to do and how fast they adapt to changing their style of eating. And I know you personally took months to really turn away from the damage done by the vegan diet and
Yep.
really embrace all the benefits, even though you immediately had some benefits just because you were so malnourished. Giving any calories will give you a little rush.
Yeah.
Any nutrition, I should say, will give you a little rush. But
Mm.
I think there's physiologically 3 stages of carnivore recovery. First is when you've successfully adapted, which is up to the independent. The second big rush is when you've turned from relying on glucose as an energy source to relying on fats.
I love
And
that. Yep.
that's called the fat adaptation phase,
Yeah.
where you're now living on ketones and you're literally producing more energy per ounce of food taken in than you've ever had in your whole life. And so you are actually a metabolic engine at that point. And then the third is when you overcome whatever the governor is that's dragging your body down because of something you need to heal. And it could be a tendonitis, it could be a brain fog, it could be inflammation in your body. And I think it's phases. And I think Todd hit the thing on the nose, saying that you go from being so sick often that any improvement is seen as more energy.
Yeah.
But the longer you're carnivore, the better you feel. And the setbacks you have are so short that they're almost forgettable. It's just crazy. I mean, I go back to when we had the 2 hurricanes in Florida, and each time I cleaned up over 100 yard bags, which is a lot of lifting and picking up. And I'm 68. And to do that and not to be crippling, bent over and not able to move
Yeah.
the next morning, and to do that and not experience that, that's boundless energy to me, by not having the incapacitating, lactic acid buildup from just doing activities more than that you're not normally doing. So that's how I would answer that, Bella.
That is such a good answer. Thank you for talking about the different stages of energy, and feeling a little burst of each level of energy, because you're right. When going from a vegan diet for 6 years where I felt like a zombie all the time, any little semblance of animal fat would have woken me up and made me feel alive. And I felt that. The first bite of my first animal food, which was scrambled eggs and Kerrygold butter, I felt like I was levitating. I already felt that energy boost. But then the first few weeks of my carnivore experience, I would get this energy boost upon eating. And then after, I would need to nap. I would need to nap so much. I would need to sleep like 8 to 10 hours a night because I was healing so deeply. I could just feel it down to my cells. I was healing so hard. My period came back after a few months. And that was the first sign where I felt like this diet is finally supporting my hormones. And so for those who are not feeling that full day energy like Laura has, like I have now, for some people who have deep healing, it takes months, if not a full year of sticking to a carnivore diet filled with fats before you get that all day energy. And that's just the brutal truth. The more damage you've done to your body, the more healing you need to do. And so you'll just need to be patient. If you guys have follow-ups on this energy topic, we'd love to answer more. To submit your question, always start with a capital Q, and we're going in order if you're new here. Okay, Let's keep going. Luke, welcome. Thoughts on slow cooking steak instead of sous vide? Todd?
I mean, they're both great, to be honest with you. Slow cooking steak is great. I think I like the ease and the fact that you don't have to babysit a sous vide. I love that. But then you also do have to still sear it. Slow cooking it is a little bit easier. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about like a reverse sear, on a steak. But I mean, I like both of them, to be honest with you. I love both methods, but I'm either using the air fryer or I'm sous vide and searing on charcoal, or I'm smoking it, slow cooking it on a smoker. I mean, those are pretty much the only three things I do, and then sear it off. But I think they're all fantastic. But I think for simplicity, I like the sous vide because you just drop it in the water, and it doesn't matter if you get back to it in 3 hours or 10 hours. It's awesome every time.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Fantastic. I think that's a perfect answer. So we'll keep going. Christian, welcome. I've been doing carnivore for 4 weeks now. My IBS SXS of 20 plus years went away on my 3rd day.
Oh, that's
Wow.
amazing. Wow.
Congrats. Amazing. I was amazed yet cautious. 4 weeks have gone by and my IBS SXS have 100% disappeared. I mean, yeah. So what's the question?
Congratulations.
Yeah, right. Congrats, Christian. I don't see a question. So maybe is Christian asking if he should continue, if there's any issue? Should he be concerned? What are your thoughts, Phil?
I'd celebrate the win.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's interesting how much inflammatory, irritable bowel syndrome is really diet related to begin with. And it's interesting in medical school, where we were taught 45 years ago. I have to say how long ago I went to medical school, but 45 years ago, we were taught, well, you have to give them a lot of fiber and low fat diets and all this. And it was really the wrong advice, as we now know. But it's kind of interesting how often we hear of people resolving standard IBS, IBS with constipation, IBS with diarrhea. All the different variants are due to poor gut health. And you fix the gut health. And it's interesting that when they've looked at microbiome studies of carnivores, I mean, we have better microbiomes than all these people that are eating vegan diets and eating standard, and of course, better than the standard American diet. So there's really because we don't need our microbiome to be digesting all this undigestible food that we're eating. And you take the undigestible food out of your diet and your intestinal tract just works better.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. Keep us posted, Christian. Congratulations. Celebrate that win. All right, Nancy, welcome. Is it likely or normal to gain weight when you start carnivore? How can this be avoided? For me, it could not have been avoided because I was coming from 6 years of malnourishment and lots of stress on the body. And so I see typically women will gain weight when they first start carnivore. Check out Kelly Hogan and her story, very similar to what I experienced. Anyone who has restricted for a very long time, don't be surprised if you gain some initial weight gain. If you were vegan, vegetarian for a very long time, also expect some weight gain. But the key here is it's not permanent. You're not going to gain weight and then forever stay at that higher weight. You're not going to be inflamed. That weight gain is healthy weight gain. It's necessary weight gain. So for me, I gained weight. I dropped it after a year. And to this day, 6 years in, I am still getting tons of body recomposition. Laura was talking about the butter boobs. You guys will likely experience the cinching of the waist, the disappearance of bloat, but the increase of your breast size, right? A perkier booty. Laura, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's real.
Yes.
Definitely. When you when you increase the fat, it's obviously it's what we're made of. It's what our bodies, it's the composition of a woman's body, and
Yeah.
women are notorious undereaters. Even if you're overweight as a woman, it's because you've been eating the wrong things. It's not natural. You know what I mean? So, so yes, even if you're overweight, and you may gain some weight going into carnivore, but that's going to change for sure. When I started the priming protocol, I probably put on 5 or 6 pounds almost immediately, but then that went away as the calendar changed, and I went through the change, through the program of priming in that first 30 days. But even beyond that, I did the 90-day protocol. I probably finished it maybe about 4.5 to 5 months in, because I had to return to priming a couple times too. I wasn't quite ready to stop the priming. But my body composition has continued to change all 3 years, and it's still, I have a lot more muscle now. I'm a lot more cut.
Yes.
And yeah, my waistline has changed. My hips have changed, and the bust line, but all in a good way. So
Love it. And then just show off those guns, please. 70.5 and thriving. My dream, my goal. Yep. Thank you, Laura. Always be kind. Welcome. My hair is falling out. I've been carnivore for about 4 months, and it just started. Help, please. If it just started and you're 4 months in, you're probably under eating. So eat more. This is speaking for the entire team here. We get this question every single week. Eat more, 3 meals a day. Absolutely 3 meals a day for you. And eat more protein, eat more fat. It's not just the protein. You have to eat fatty meat 3 meals a day. Just up your portions. Definitely don't do OMAD. That's probably why you are losing hair if you're doing OMAD. Come back to us and let us know your updates. Zixin, welcome. I'm a 13-year-old Chinese Asian. 13-year-old Chinese Asian. Oh my gosh. Welcome. On carnivore for 1.5 months. Wow. Congrats. Did you ever go through a phase where eating only fatty meat felt like it wasn't working and your body craved things like fruits or dairy? I can relate to this because Zixin, my husband, he like goes through this exactly like you. Okay. So he will have fatty meat every single day because he's like, babe, I want to do strict carnivore. I'm having joint pain. Workouts are not feeling as good. So he'll do strict carnivore as a reset. But every single time he does strict carnivore, he'll start craving for fruits and just variety for salads. And I see that as it's okay. Like if you're craving for some fruit and you can have it without any flare-ups or issues, go ahead and have it. It's not worth feeling like you're depriving of yourself and unhappy with your carnivore experience. If you can just have one fruit and not have like falling down the rabbit hole and having sugar binges, you can have the fruit. Like I really don't want to come off as dogmatic ever, even though my carnivore channel is super carnivore. I am starting to understand that a lot of people don't need a strict carnivore like Todd needs it. Like I need it. If you're more like my husband, where you're metabolically healthy, and since you're 13 years old, you're probably metabolically healthy, have the fruit, have the dairy. Okay? You're doing great. Keep us posted, please.
The other thing is a 13-year-old's in their prime of growth spurt.
Yeah.
So you really need to eat a lot when you're 13.
A lot. Yeah. If you want to grow tall, eat a lot. Chris, yeah.
I want to go back and do that.
I know. So Kristen says, please help. I want to lose 300 pounds. Let's have Todd give his best tips.
Well, let me tell you, it works. Lindy's lost over 500 pounds. I've lost over 320 pounds. And it's not as hard as you think. I mean, it's carnivore, like you guys have been saying, carnivore simple, but it's not super easy, but the results happen a lot quicker than you think. And you might think I'm biased, but I don't get paid to say this at all. I think the number one thing you can do is join Steak and Butter Gang so that we can help you out step by step on exactly what you need to be doing, because it's hard. But there's a lot of nuances and a lot of questions when you're first doing it, and you're going to have a lot of negative things going on with with cravings, with possibly keto flu, with hunger and things you don't understand, and fighting that urge to undereat because, you know, that's been beat into our head. And you need people to kind of walk you through that. And it's very, very helpful. So I think the number one thing you got to do is get into a community where we can help you. And then the number two thing is you got to eat through the cravings. Don't worry about calories. Don't worry about any of the nonsense. Try to stay away from the dairy. That can kind of get you off track, but just stay hard on BBB&E. Read all the labels. Don't take anything for granted. They're sneaking crap in everywhere. And eat hard until you get through the cravings and then start to refine it.
Beautiful.
Community is huge on a journey like that. Having people to check in with a couple times a week and know that they're going through the same thing, I think that's huge. And I think my success was twofold: community and their priming program, which I originally wasn't even going to join, but after I heard about it, I decided I'm worth $1 a day, aren't I? And had instant success with it. So,
wow, amazing. It's linked down below in the description box if you guys need a clickable link, and we can't wait to see you in the community. CP3, I'm not really losing weight, but my insulin dropped from 28 to 16 in 6 months. Wow. Leptin coming down slower, hoping when at normal levels, the whoosh will come. Thoughts? Phil, you want to start?
Yeah, great. Fantastic accomplishment, dropping your insulin almost in half. You're still high on insulin, so you still have a degree of insulin resistance. And I understand with your leptin coming down. You just need to keep doing what you're doing because your body is healing. And the fact you dropped your fasting insulin by 12 points means that what you're doing now is bringing you closer to your goal. And it'll be amazing when you get that down to the, under 9 and then finally get it under 6. You'll feel like a new person. So just keep at it. You've made a lot of progress, and perseverance is probably and patience are the 2 P words I'm going to use tonight.
I love that. Cisse, welcome. How do carnivores handle their vegan doctors during office visits?
get a new doctor.
I have one of those.
Wow.
It's hard. You just have to.
Yeah.
You just have to thank him for all the articles he gives you about how dangerous meat is, and why low carb diets will kill you and all that, and say thank you, doctor. Now I'm going to send you 3 articles on ketogenic diet and lipid transport, and if you'll read my articles, I'll read your articles if you read my articles. And he does, and then I just continue to be the example for him.
Love that. How about you, Todd? You raised your hand.
Yeah, I fired him. That's what I did. I was just gonna say.
I'm with you, Todd.
Exactly. And I think the next time I'm going to ask them if they want to hear about my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. See if we can play that game.
Great. Oh my gosh. Anyone here have vegan doctors as their doctor? That's so interesting. Put it in the comments. Dennis, has anyone else had to do wild-caught salmon to help with insomnia? Seemed to help me a lot. I must have needed omega-3s bad. Wow. Interesting.
Wow. I can tell you that it's funny that you say that. I crave raw salmon, wild caught, and I've been eating that a lot, and I haven't been sleeping well, but I started taking the cod livers when I found out that I had to take vitamin D3 because the fat, to take the D3. And now that I'm eating the cod livers, I'm sleeping better again. I think from the omega-3. And so I've been eating 2 cans of these every day. I keep them here in my desk drawer because these things are making me feel fantastic and they're making me sleep better. So I believe that that's a real thing, whatever's going on there.
Do you eat them raw, Todd?
Well, yeah. However, they're in this can. I just eat them. They're fantastic. I eat them right out of this can and I really like them. They taste better than sardines to me. They're a texture thing when you first try them, but they're awesome.
No, never tried one. So
Yeah, they're super mild. It's like they don't really have a taste, but it's definitely a texture thing at first.
Yeah.
Mm.
Super cool. Let's keep going. Ginger, welcome. Why doesn't pediatricians tell us about carnivore for children after they start solid food to prevent issues? Because once born, we are actively dying. Wow. What a perspective. Okay, so why don't pediatricians tell us about carnivore? Well, most doctors don't talk about carnivore. Okay. So, how about you, Phil? What do you think?
Well, I want to give you all some encouragement because my wife told me today she met a woman last week and they got started talking about the carnivore diet. And the woman was prescribed the carnivore diet for her
Really?
autoimmune disease, and her symptoms have gone away.
Wow.
And my wife was just amazed. So,
Wow.
because there aren't a lot of children doing carnivores, the pediatricians don't have a lot of exposure unless the parents are willing to talk about it. And a lot of the carnivore parents don't want to disclose to the pediatricians because in some states that, they might get reported and, oh, you're abusing your children or whatever because you're not giving them the standard pyramid and all the colors of the rainbow and all the junk that has been rammed down our throats. So I understand why we don't have pediatricians in the carnivore space because it's just darn hard for them to even be in the conversation at this point. So we have to change that, but we've got a lot of the medical specialty or medical field to meanwhile influence with our positive results, and it will take time, but be patient, stay tuned.
Awesome. Okay, this is Truckin' Crochet. Hubby and I are team truck drivers, opposite shifts, need ideas for making meals that are easy for our shift changes. Any ideas? Hubby has a taste bud of a 5-year-old. I'm more diverse. Laura, any ideas?
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, let's see, what would I normally do? Any pre-cooked meat, like if meatloaf, you make the meatloaf, I'll make a meatloaf, cut it up, you've got it ready to go. As Phil said, the meat doesn't really have to be, I eat cold burgers, doesn't bother me.
So
you don't have to have hot food.
Yeah.
If you can handle dairy, you can certainly have some cheese cut up, but I don't do a lot of dairy myself, just as a condiment, as I was taught in SBG. So if I have a burger, I want cheese melted on it, I have it, but otherwise I don't really sit around and eat it. But hard-boiled eggs are great to have with you. Again, dehydrated meats, but you got to stay away from the jerky and stuff they sell most places. But chomps, I think, are a real clean.
For sure.
There's a couple other brands out there that are super clean to take with.
Exactly.
Meatballs, even cold meatballs. I'm not talking about in red sauce, but meatballs that you browned or those are great to snack on.
Yes, great tips. And I'll just drop my recipe playlist. So if you're new here, I have meal plans that I love posting. I have so many creative recipes that I make for my husband, who also has taste buds of a 5-year-old. So I think they will, yeah, I think your husband will love the pancakes, the ice cream that I make. Check it out. You can batch cook them too. So enjoy.
Your pancakes are a game changer, by the way.
Oh, yay. You tried it the other day. They look so good.
Oh my goodness. They came out so good. I could not believe it. They do taste like traditional pancakes. I mean,
Wow.
and I think they're fluffier than traditional pancakes, but
they're more
they
like
were great.
Japanese souffle, but thank you, Phil. That's awesome.
Oh, awesome.
All right. Neighborhood Life Fellowship says, I'm diabetic, off all meds, mainly carnivore. Fasting sugars still are too high. Any recommendations, Phil?
Well, I'd like to know a little bit more, neighborhood. I'd love to know how high your sugars are. And there's a lot of evidence out there that one of the best things you can do to get that final results is to go into a 2MAD type of regimen and eat 2 meals a day and then fast for 17 to 18 hours. So you eat 2 meals within 6 to 8 hours and then don't eat again. And what you're doing is you're turning off your insulin release 17, 18 hours a day. And it's a great way to start bringing your basal insulin levels and increase your insulin sensitivity. So it's a little hack. And if you do get hungry and need something in between, just put a pat of butter on your tongue, because the butter, if it's pure butter, will not secrete insulin and will keep you in a pseudo fasted state. So it's a nice little trick.
Awesome. 2 meals a day. That's so cool. Okay, we've got Shinny next. I'm 1 year vegan, 8-year vegetarian, 2-year pescatarian, now 3.5 months carnivore. Well, firstly, congratulations on your progress and welcome to carnivore. The first month was great, but bloating returned 2 months ago. I'm on lion diet with eggs from time to time. Thoughts? My first thought is the eggs. If the eggs are in there with the lion diet, eggs are going to be quite inflammatory. Especially if you're super sensitive and healing. I made a video about eggs and specifically what about the egg causes bloating and inflammation. Try cutting out the egg whites and then eating only the yolk. If you still have bloating, just cut out the egg altogether, introduce it back in like a month or so and see if it continues to give you bloat. But that's the best way forward. Greg, is a ribeye cooked in a cast iron skillet with beef fat and butter, along with 5 to 6 sauteed shrimp, butter and garlic, and 6 fried eggs and 4 strips of bacon overkill for 1 meal, Todd?
Oh,
No. You're asking the way wrong dude.
I wanted you to answer on purpose.
Yeah. No, I mean, and also, I don't know, go watch my video on how I make a ribeye. I cut my ribeyes 3.5 inches thick and they're 3.5 pounds, and that's just one ribeye. So, and I don't eat strips of bacon, I eat packs of bacon. So, no, I think you're doing just fine. And just eat what your body's craving. As long as it's, as long as it's not a bunch of dairy could get you in trouble or a bunch of crap foods, then eat it when you're craving it, and then don't when you're not, Yeah.
Love that. You guys have to watch Todd's latest YouTube video. I linked the channel right there in the live chat. It's also linked below. His latest video on how he cooks ribeye is incredible. Please check it out after this live stream. Okay. Delilah, I took a microbiome test. It gave me food suggestions to heal health problems. I've been eating carnivore. The microbiome test tells me to avoid fatty beef and egg yolks. Why, Phil?
Nonsense. Don't throw the test out.
Right.
Eat carnivore.
But
I'm
Phil,
sorry,
what about
I'm sorry you spent all that money.
But Phil, tell him about how much you care about the microbiome.
Yeah. I think I already made my statement about the microbiome tonight.
Right.
Eat fatty meats and the microbiome takes care of itself.
Yeah.
There is so much focus out there, and the research shows that, basically carnivores have fantastic microbiomes. So quit trying to worry about it and try to diagnose it. I get a little frustrated with people. I've had people come who were told by, quote, functional doctors that they had liver failure, they had kidney failure, they had all these things, and you got to go take my $500 a month of supplements or you're going to die. And I look at their labs and say, well, these are normal labs for a carnivore. Just keep eating carnivore. You don't need to supplement with all this stuff. So I'm very frustrated with people that get caught into this trying to micromanage their biome based on some pseudoscience. So
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
totally. Thank you for saying that. Gigi, I like you mentioned, I'm very tired after eating meat and fat. How long does the deep healing take typically? There's no typical time period for how long deep healing takes because it is way too personal of a journey for each person. Everybody will have walked a different path before starting carnivore. And so it could take anywhere from, well, instantaneous to years. 2 years, I want to say. Okay, let's keep going. Laura, I had a gastric sleeve done 7 years ago. Since last year, I gained half of the weight I lost. Will like to start carnivore, but I'm afraid I cannot eat as much. Any suggestions? So Lindy would be so perfect to answer this because she also had the gastric sleeve done. But what I know that works for Lindy, and she lost 500 pounds, is that she will graze throughout the day and eat very, very small meals, but still focusing on her version of priming. So she still is very adamant about eating plenty of food. Do not undereat. And you can do that by grazing throughout the day. Lindy likes dehydrated meat because it's easier for her to eat. And she does have to avoid like runny, melted fats. What else, Todd? Any tips?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just eat, you have to eat a lot of small meals and just keep going. And then, she does work in the fat slowly, definitely the cold fats. And, really, gastric sleeve. Yeah, I mean, really, she has the lap band. And so you can't, I mean, Phil, you can't get the gastric sleeve reversed, can you?
No, the gastric sleeve, they actually take away lengthwise a more than half of your stomach. So it
Yeah.
maintains the same length, but it's now less volume. Yeah, where the lap band is just occluding the front part of the stomach so that you build a little pouch. So the biggest thing with gastric sleeves is you've got to heal your hormones because of all the insult of taking all that stomach away. And most people with gastric sleeves have real struggles getting the calories in they need to heal to get their metabolism back up. And the reason they're gaining weight after time is their metabolism has tanked. So even though Lindy has a different procedure done, the same strategy works with people with gastric sleeves. You've got to eat more often and you have to build up your tolerance for fat because a lot of people with gastric sleeve are fat intolerant and you have to build up your cholecystokinin and your lipases by introducing fat. So the strategy I like to recommend people do is not only eating multiple times a day and try to, if you have to eat every hour while awake, to do that. But as you get used to doing that, start adding a measured amount of fat in with each meal, maybe a half pat of butter. And you want to slowly increase that about every 2 weeks until you can get your body conditioned to you've got more normal hormones and you're getting enough calories that you untank or what we call re-regulate your digestive system because your hormones are so deregulated because of the insult of the gastric sleeve. So it takes work, but it's doable. And you can be very successful on carnivore.
You can do this, Laura. Keep us posted, please. So we are right on the hour. Shall we wrap up for the night then, team? Okay.
Yes.
So we talked about the steak and butter gang a lot. Our next challenge is happening May 3rd. If you guys are new to the carnivore community, like Todd and Laura and Phil say all the time, accountability and community is very, very important to help you get to that 30, 60, 90-day mark. It really helps. We've got Dr. Q&As in the gang every single week. So you want to talk to Dr. Chafee, Dr. Baker, Dr. Ovadia, we invite them every single week to take live questions. And then Todd does open chat. Raymond does priming and fasting. right? Phil answers any questions as well in there. So we'd love to see you in the community and get to know you guys. So what else? What else is there to announce? Montana one more time?
Yeah, Montana one more time.
Perfect. July 4th. Come hang out with us.
First ever.
First ever.
Yeah.
Butter Gang meetup. That's right. Many more to come though. Okay. Don't worry. If you can't make it to Montana in time, we'll definitely do a lot more. These are so fun.
Can I make a closing comment?
Yes, please.
So I went carnivore myself, and was carnivore for 3 months, and really started stalling and realized that I'd hit my wall because my metabolism was so tanked. And I saw Todd on a live stream with Homestead Hal, and he was talking about priming. And I really didn't know what he was talking about, but he explained it in a way that it made perfect sense to me as a physician with a physiology degree. And I was very intrigued by it. I joined SBG. I committed to jump in up front for 120 days. I was going to do challenges 1, 2, and 3, level 1, 2, and 3, which is a 90-day challenge. Then I was going to join their chisel program for a month, and then I was going to disappear. And that was my plan. But I really fell in love with the community, and Bella asked me to stay, and I said, well, if I stay, I want to contribute something back. And it's been a real blessing to be in this, so I'll call it SBG exile, because it's like the Hotel California. You check in anytime you want, but you can never leave. It is such a blessing. Carnivore is one of the simplest things to understand, but it's not the easiest thing to do. And there is nothing like the combination of methodology and community working together in a group, with a group of people that are so giving to one another and willing to help you through any challenge you might face. And it's really a fun team to be engaged with. There's many of the people in the gang that are online tonight, and shout out to all of you. But it is the way to take mystery out of all of this, and really to get in your groove and get the health benefits that you're looking for. And my own dad is almost 96 now. And when I shortly after I joined the gang, I convinced him to do a month of carnivore just to eliminate stuff, because he had suffered from 30 years of polymyalgia rheumatica, which is an autoimmune disease, which forced him to be on prednisone every day of his life for 30 years. He had gained 70 pounds. He was insulin resistant. And he's one of these that was refractory, that wasn't getting better, though most people reverse naturally with PMR. And so anyway, we put him he agreed to go on carnivore. And then after eliminating everything in his diet, I told him, let's reintroduce one food a week and see if anything nutritionally you would react to. And on the 3rd week, he reintroduced onions, which was a food that he ate every day. And he immediately had his PMR flare up again.
Oh.
And we determined that the onion family was what was doing it. We have kept him off onion, and he's been off onions now for 3 years. He's been off prednisone for 1.5 years totally. He occasionally will have a flare when he likes to go on cross-country trips at 95.5, where he drives his SUV by himself. And when he does like 8 hours, 9 hours in a day, he'll get the PMR will act up in his neck, and he gets some shoulder and neck pain. He'll take 3 days of prednisone and then be done with it. But he has managed now. He's basically a ketovore. He eats mostly meat. He'll eat occasionally some green beans or something like that. But getting him off processed food and onions especially has turned his life around. He dropped 72 pounds. He's been the lowest weight that he's been in 30 years. He feels great. And we're getting ready to book. He goes on a polka cruise every year with 6 polka bands in the
Wow.
Caribbean, drives all over the United States and travels, lives alone. I mean, sings in the choir every Sunday, and his life has been so much better. So be encouraged. It doesn't matter how old you are, what you're faced with. Proper nutrition can get you in much better health because you have your whole life ahead of you. Why not start now?
That's right.
Wow.
Food
What a-
is medicine for sure. And if you don't
Absolutely.
learn that on the carnivore diet, you won't learn anything. It really is.
It's life-changing.
It
Yep.
is life-changing.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you, team. I love you all so much. Thank you to all the people in the Steak and Butter Gang who joined us. I see you guys. And for those who are new here and would like to join the gang, we cannot wait to meet you. Clickable link is in the description box. We'll see you next Friday.
See you
Have a
guys
great
again.
Good night,
Easter.
everyone. Happy
Bye.
Easter too.
Eat more